I'm going to show you how to slice with Slicecrafter. Now, slicing is how you actually give the instructions to the 3D printer to print your design. There's a few important things you need to do. First, when you open Slicecrafter, you need to load your STL. So you have downloaded this previously from Tinkercad, and I'm going to find mine. So there's one I want to slice, and I click open. Now, if I use my right mouse click, it will move all of the bed. And if I use my left, it will rotate. So left will allow me to rotate, click and hold. Right will let me go. And if I have a center click wheel, I can move it in and out. Now, the first thing we need to do is set our printer. Our printer is an Ender 3. It defaults to Ultimaker 2. And if you leave it on this, your prints will not come out at all. So you're going to grab this little wheel and you're going to go find Ender 3. Now, almost everything is ready to go, but we do need to make some changes. So at first, we don't need anything with custom, but we are going to work in slicing. So we need to think, do we want our layers to be 0.2 or 0.3? The smaller your layers, the finer the detail, but the slower the print. If you have something with a lot of detail, 0.1 or 0.2 is your best printing level. But if you want something to print quickly and you're not overly worried about what it looks like on the side, click 0.3. Then print speed. 60 is fine. We don't need to change it. The last little thing to think about is, are all of these good? And spiralize. Now, spiralize is basically, it goes in a circle. It creates a singular level. This is really cool if you want to make vases or vase mode, but it only does this when possible. So you don't need to uncheck it. It will automatically keep it. Then we're going to talk about travel. Everything in travel should be okay. The other one you could do is what's called Z-lift. Basically, if you have something that might collide, it will raise the nozzle away as it moves. Not overly important, but a little helpful. Now, brush, we do need to make some changes. First, you want to talk about your cover thickness. Now, in your cover thickness, that's how thick are your edges. So, for example, we have one shell. This is the number of times that it goes around the hull. Stronger prints have more. So 2 to 3 is normally your good basis. 3 is your strongest, 2 is less. The more shells, the stronger, but again, the more it's going to take. And your cover thickness is how thick your top is. So my bottom and top are going to be 1.2 millimeters. And then the last thing here is there's ironing. Ironing is kind of cool. It actually will smooth the top, so you can enable that if you want to. And you can leave this pretty much stock, but it will add more time. So something to think about is ironing adds more time. It will be nicer, but it adds more time. Really good for flat prints. Infill percentage. The more infill, the stronger it is. Most of the time, 5 to 10% is going to be okay. Now, we have to make one change here. Right here under temperature. Our filament prints at 205 degrees Celsius. If you print at 200, you might get under extrusion. So we need to change it. Supports are if you have overhangs. With a flat coin like this, I don't need supports. But if I have an object that has what we call overhang, something that hangs over the edge, you can click on supports. Now, supports can automatically do what you need, so you don't really need to overly change it, but if you need them, they're there. For cavity, we have nothing, but we do need to talk about adhesion. A brim will actually print outside and it will increase the base. If you have a very tiny object, it will be very hard for it to get adhesion, so you want a brim. With a coin like this, you don't need a brim. Also, you could add a raft. A raft will kind of, like it says, bring it above. Rafts are good, but if you want a nice smooth finish, you don't need a raft. And the last one here is we change our bed to 60 degrees C. Our beds heat at 60 degrees. And then the rest of this is not necessarily important, and you don't really have to do any other piece. So as a reminder, under slicing, what is your layer thickness? Under brush, how many shells and how much infill? Under extruder, change the temperature to 205, and adhesion 60 degrees, and you can check brim or raft, but if you need them, you can also add them. All right, there are going to add more. So once you have all of that good to go, and remember it's Ender 3, then you're going to click Slice. Now may take longer the more advanced your object is, or it might be really quick. Now we're going to look at time and material information. And this is really important because we need to know how long this might take. So once you click Save, it's going to save your object and it will tell me this coin should take approximately 48 minutes and 52 seconds. And it also shows me my G code. When this occurs, I want to open it up and I'm going to rename it. So I have my G code. I'm going to right click my G code. I'm going to click rename and I'm going to name it Romano Coin V2. And then I need to put in how long it's going to take. It said 48 minutes, so I'm going to put in 50 min. And that tells me when I go to slice this, it will take 50 minutes of slicing time. So that is slicing with Slicecrafter.